Welcome to the Fleettalk ROCKcast, our public safety podcast powered by Rock Communications. This is where the people who build, maintain, and depend on mission-critical communications come together to talk real-world operations, lessons learned, and the technology that keeps first responders connected when it matters most. We cover the stories, the systems, and the hard lessons learned behind the scenes, so when it counts, our radios just work. This is the Fleettalk ROCKcast.
Hey everybody, Matthew Littleton with Fleettalk on our next episode of the ROCKcast podcast by Fleettalk by Rock. And if you think that's easy to say, I welcome you to come here and see all the bloopers and the outtakes that it takes us to get.
Got a chair right here for it.
Right here. And again, I'm joined by Matt Hall, colleague and friend. We're going to be talking about template building. You've purchased your next radio system and you're going from whatever it is that you had, analog, whatever, and talk about some tips and tricks to deciding how you want that template to look. And so, Matt, we kind of in our last episode, we talked about in the beginning, and so I think this flows really good right into the next one. One of the things you and I talk a lot about is zone and channel assignment, for all of our customers, how to lay that out in the most efficient way possible. Do you want to start off with that?
Sure. It's when you look at the base, what we call our base template, whether it's, a Palmetto type trunking, Charlotte, your base template now might have, 15 zones in it, 16 channels per zone. So just without adding anything, that mutual aid talk groups and all that has a lot in it. So you have to be able to navigate around in the radio. One of the things that came up very quickly after we rolled out to the trunking system is people are like, well, I want all the stuff I use in one zone. Mm-hmm. That seemed to be common. And trust me, I understand that, but we also tried to work in where they would intentionally at times, now this is going to sound strange, or some people think it's, you'll probably get it, where they would have to use the menu and zone change and all that, because we had people that were like, all right, I want everything in this one zone. And then when they had to go to a different mutual aid talk group, they said, another zone? I don't have that channel. How do I get there? I don't have it.
Yeah.
So training obviously is one thing that helps that. But then also using that no, we didn't do it to make it complicated, but that's something that has to be considered when, you definitely put your day-to-day primary stuff, your top 3, 4, 5 in that zone.
Yeah. But
you're never going to get everything that you need in one zone. So that was one thing that came up really quick after we rolled out. So it popped up. We knew it. We were going to have to do some more training, make sure everybody's aware how to use the radio.
Something even today with the equipment and technology that's available today. And I think it's fair to say that you and I aren't fans of this, but we have a lot of customers who are, is the channel stop in the radios can be removed. And so some of our customers are asking for that channel stop to be removed to where you can have more than just 16 channels in a zone.
Right.
There's pros and cons to it. I've heard, I get it. It is what it is, but the capabilities are there. And what I've seen out of our customers is they roll out, and usually in the beginning it's a good mix of what I think my primary day-to-day is, but we're also starting to see them add some ops, TAC, and so whatever they call them, channels in that zone. I think it's really cool. And one of the things that I really enjoy is helping customers make every radio in your system laid out the same.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if I'm not going to share my narcotics channel with you, or I'm not going to share my secret squirrel channel with you. Well, if it was in zone 8, channel 6, then yours just says blank in zone 8, channel 6. But it's laid out identical.
Absolutely.
It makes it easier on the users, because if you have an incident, the dispatcher is looking at that channel sheet and goes, oh, you need to go to zone 6, channel 12. It's the same in every radio.
That's right.
And for us on the technical side, it's beautiful because we only have to manage one template.
It makes it much easier, less chance for error, easier for people to learn. They grab any radio. I drop my radio. I pick up another officer's radio from another agency, and it's going to have the same call groups in the same channel position, same zones. And absolutely.
And it also kind of helps. What I've seen is when you start bringing that multi-jurisdiction listed together, what channel are we supposed to be on? And somebody says, oh, it's on this channel. And they actually kind of take care of each other,
right?
Because I mean, it's crowdsourcing, I guess, in the best way possible. So I think that is, I think thinking through that, in our last episode, we talked about policies and procedures. One thing I would encourage users to do, whether you've been on a system for 20 years or you're just starting, is get on the training ground and play with it.
Absolutely.
Doesn't matter what it is. Fire service, we do an annual burn every year. We're required to do that. Depending on if you're where you are, what the requirement is, maybe more. In law enforcement in South Carolina, you go to the range a minimum of twice a year. So, but how often do we train with our radios? We use those on every call.
That's exactly right. Yeah, you have to know how to use the radio.
Yeah,
it has to, and that's where we go back to talking about policies and your operating procedures.
Yep.
Need to match the radio so it makes sense.
Yep.
One of the hardest things for a lot in this county and other counties is, hey, I was used to staying on this channel for dispatch, but yet, I have a different ops channel that I can go to now. Is some people like to stay on that dispatch talk group. Everybody's listening instead of going over to that ops channel. And then the other thing is calling talk groups by their talk group name versus channel number.
That's a good,
and that's very, very hard for some because they were so used to, I have 8 channels in my radio. Channels 1 through 8. There's no display on the radio.
Yep.
Now you have, 18 or 20 zones, and, so zone, the channel talk group name.
Yep. Special
Ops 1, Rock Hill PD Dispatch, Rock Hill Metro 1, that way it's so much easier.
I think about, listening to you talk about the channel names, being and working for Fleettalk, we get to go all over the place and see some good we get to see it all.
Right.
And one of the dispatch systems I really like, and I'm a fan because I like simple, but Horry County has the main PSAP for the county. And if I'm speaking wrong, Horry's not one of our customers, but getting to hear them experience it. The main county PSAP, the channels on the fire EMS side, the dispatch call sign is whatever the channel name is you're talking on. So if you're on TAC 1, the dispatch call sign is TAC 1. And if you listen to them, TAC 1, engine 32.
And that's pretty cool.
That is really cool because if I'm a dispatcher now, I don't have to, what channel was that? No, I heard it. They called it was TAC 1.
That is, as long as I've been doing this, I've never heard that.
That is the coolest thing.
It makes all kinds of sense.
And then, and then they correlate. So they have 4 battalions. And so TAC 1 is Battalion 1, TAC 2 is Battalion 2, 3. So if you're going to a call in Battalion 2's area, your initial response is TAC 2.
It's pretty cool.
It is really cool. So, get to see that. So just some things like that, as you start planning, consider those options. Go see other places and see how to, if you're not sure who to contact to go see it, reach out to us. It doesn't cost us a dime to recommend, hey, let me give you this phone number. Go call them. We'd love to.
And speaking of that, I would recommend anybody that's getting ready to go down the road of designing a template, reach out to your counterparts at agencies that already do it.
That's exactly.
And ask them, hey, if you had to do it over, what would you do different? What would you do differently? Because I guarantee you, they're going to have several things that they would say. Because, once you roll out something on that scale where, you're talking 1,500, 2,000, 2,500 radios, it's a lot. You have to make sure that, we're going to make a change.
Yep.
Well, you got to make sure your procedures are changed. Then you have to reprogram everything.
Absolutely.
Obviously, with some of the new technology, that has become very, very,
absolutely
very nice. Which,
and we've got a video coming talking about Armada and Armada server on the Viking line. It is beautiful. Both of us haven't done this on the public safety side. Wish we had it years ago.
But oh my goodness,
it is. But it's great. But you're absolutely right. And if you're an agency that has your own tech services support, and even internally, if we're writing a new template, there's at least 2 of us that put eyes on that template multiple times before it gets pushed out. And in most cases, it's more than that. Because you're looking at a template with hundreds of talk groups and channels, you're going to miss something.
Yes.
And so having that second set of eyes to go, you're an idiot, you didn't do this. No, I'm just kidding. It's checks and balances.
Oh, absolutely. And that's why anytime we get ready to look at making some changes, I please look at it, see if there's anything else you want to change.
Yep.
Ask around, because, it's always easier.
That's
from front end versus after you've programmed the first 500 and somebody comes up.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. Well, just as I've said in previous podcasts, if you want more information, if you need help, if you need recommendations on agencies to go see, please reach out to us at Rob. Goodness, I can't even talk. Fleettalkbyrock.com. If you want sales information, sales@fleettalkbyrock.com. We'd love to talk to you.